แบบนี้ก็ทำเรือไปรุมกุ้งกะปิกันนะคะตอนนั้นก็ก่อนสึนามินั้นก็รายได้ก็พออยู่ได้แล้วได้วันละเป็นพันกำไรนะค่ะคือพออยู่ได้ตอนแรกที่ว่าทำกัน10 วันนั้นเขาก็ให้วันละ150ให้ทุกคนเลยที่ไปทำก็ให้อยู่ประมาณ 3-4 วันแล้วหลังจากนั้นทำได้ทางออฟฟิศก็หาออเดอร์มาให้ก่อนก็ทำกันแล้วเขาก็มาสั่งเรื่อยๆค่ะบางทีทางออฟฟิศก็สั่งให้ไปเป็นการ์ดขอบคุณที่ว่าเขามาช่วยสึนามิบ้างที่ว่าเข้ามาทำงานกับ NATR ตอนแรกไม่ได้คิดว่าจะมาทำกับ NATR เพราะว่าตอนแรก NATR เขาเปิดจะสอนแล้วพอดีพี่ทัศน์เขาบอกดีเพราะมันมีตำแหน่งงานเกี่ยวกับพวกสินค้าแฮนดิคราฟต์นี่แหละหาตลาดสนใจไหมถ้าสนใจก็ลองมาทำดู
And Gudam was living in a village called Bakjok. He lost his home, he lost his dad, he lost his nephew, he lost his shrimp boat, which was his main source of income. So they moved into temporary accommodation. Bodhi came into the village when he was doing the fresh food delivery. Saw the boats that him and his friends were making and were really impressed by it. So Bodhi decided to put a bit of money towards the tools so they could start making some more boats to maybe try and start selling the boats to raise some money. This boat group is his way of doing it himself. And then I asked him his hopes for the future, and he said that he hopes that these boats are a way that the younger generations are going to know about the traditional Sea Gypsy culture of the region, and also provide a better future for his wife and his daughter, and also his son as well.
Tourism really made sense, and we started focusing more of our programs around that. How and why? Well, within the communities, villagers formed community-based tourism committees. And these committees started preparing the homestays, started preparing different avenues for which tourists could come into the village and experience their way of life. But the initial understanding of what tourism was going to be in these villages was built around the basic empowerment work we did, of what is our sense of place, what do we want to share about our way of life, and what types of visitors do we want to attract here.
Pangreed's mentioning about the knowledge and how it's been set up by doing role plays. So instead of just learning in a classroom, we'd actually be going out and we'd use NATR volunteers or volunteerists to actually be pretend tourists and just giving them the skills to be able to be a good guide or be like a good homestay host family as well. So they established a community-based tourism committee with a group for local guides, a group for boat guides and a homestay group, and then a leader and an accountant to make it more structured and more organised. Before, when tourists would come, it would be quite stressful for the guides and the homestay people because they wouldn't really know how to interact with tourists. And Pangreed has been very grateful to NATR for doing a series of trainings about doing activities and finding out how to pass that knowledge on. And one popular activity that the tourists can come and do is actually sit there and weave the nets with the fishermen. So that's really enjoyable. So Tara is actually one of NATR's vocational students. She graduated from a 7-month program with us. And it was called the ACE Expert Program. ACE stands for Adventure, Community-Led, Eco-Tourism. It covered computer skills, English language skills, small business management, marketing skills. As a direct result of Char and her work with the villagers, Char's managed to build a nature trail through the forest, which is being used by the villagers and tourists alike. She's also started a really fun activity, which is community aerobics, and they've got little shirts that they wear and they do that every day at 5:30. Char's come back and become a community leader in effect. So we're on Talae Nok's nature trail. It took 13 days to build, with 10 men building it. And it's quite a steep trail for 3 kilometres, so they put in steps and a rail to make it, a rope rail to make it safer for the tourists. And this was something that was proposed and organised and actually helped done by CHA, because the community wanted to get into ecotourism as well, so they felt that they needed a nature hike or some trekking. And because there's lots of lovely jungle around the area, the community came together, did a few trails and decided that this would be the best one. So now it's something else that we can offer tourists to do in the village, as well as the handicrafts and the island tour and the fishing tour. So now we can do a nice interpretive trail. Basically just joining in the life of a villager, which is becoming a real popular way to travel. Again, it's a real cheap way to travel as well, because it costs about £4 a night. When I ask people why they like having Westerners or tourists come to stay with them, they say that they love meeting people from all around the world, because it's a chance for them to talk about their life and find out about how other people live. It's as strange for the tourist as it is for the Thai person just to be hearing about little topics like food and things like that. So it's a great way to experience it. So if a tourist comes to Andaman Discoveries, and then included in that is 20% community fund, and that community fund goes back into a fund whereby it's used for different community development projects that come from the community, so that the whole village benefits from having tourists in the village, not only the people who do the homestay or the guides. So NATR has also opened up the Kuraburi Information Centre, and it's a community information centre to promote sustainable tourism in the region. So we're trying to create global networks, let people know what's available in the area, but it's more than that. It's actually a community information centre as well.
เกี่ยวกับเรื่องสึนามิใช่ไหมครับแต่ว่ามันมีผลกระทบเกี่ยวกับธุรกิจด้านสึนามิเพราะว่าทำงานเกี่ยวกับน้ำแข็งเนี่ยต้องโคกับอุทยานและคราวนี้มันก็มีผลเสียหายก็เลยต้องมาช่วยทางบ้านด้วยแต่ช่วยไปทำงานที่กรุงเทพเพื่อที่จะช่วยทางบ้านทำทุกอย่างแล้วก็ที่ได้มาอยู่ใน NATR นี่ก็เห็นว่าเป็นช่องทางที่ว่าผมมาได้มีโอกาสที่จะเรียนแล้วก็6 เดือนแล้วได้เรียน6 เดือนแล้วเนี่ยไอความรู้ที่เราเรียนมาทั้งหมดอยากจะรู้เหมือนกันว่าผมที่เรียนมาเนี่ยสามารถจะไปทำอะไรได้บ้าง
After the tsunami, we wanted to direct our attention towards the communities that would benefit the most from our aid. And the Moken, aka the Sea Gypsies, are a traditionally underprivileged group. For the last 2,000 or more years, they've been living a traditional nomadic lifestyle, wandering from island to island and gathering what they needed to from the sea, one family per houseboat. After the tsunami, a lot of them were relocated to the mainland. And there they were stuck in temples or in very cramped conditions. Slowly over the next weeks, they moved back to where they had originally lived and were staying in temporary shelters.